Jimi Hendrix, what can I say about Jimi Hendrix? I think he came from Mars. Nobody played guitar like that before, and nobody played guitar like that since. His touch, his sound, that fluid style of playing he did, mixing in the blues with jazz and rock, and his imagery. He admired Bob Dylan, too. He was trying to write lyrics like Bob Dylan would write. And his band was crazy. Mitch Mitchell on the drums, Noel Redding on the bass. It was as if they came from another planet. When they landed, they just blew everybody away. I mean, I wrote songs for her. She was a muse. I wrote a lot of songs for her. And it was a very productive time for me. You know, here I am dating this, beautiful supermodel, and me? I'm from Hicksville. What am I doing with her? What's she doing with me? But it was fun. I went to see James Brown and the Flames, the famous Flames. This was at the Apollo Theater, and it was in the early 60s. I was probably 14 or 15 years old when I went. And I just heard that this guy was a really, a great performer. And I got in, and James Brown did, "Please, please, please." And he went from one end of the stage to the other on one foot, and then back again. And this is a man's world. This is a man's world. James had his own style of singing. He actually made grunts part of his song. Hey! His little screams, his yells, his yelps, and grunts all fit into the music. It all worked. He was the hardest working man in show business. I mean, his show was so dynamic. You can see where Michael Jackson got a lot of the moves from. The guy, he worked, both sides of the stage. He was all over the place. And he had the tightest band I ever heard. There were 2 drummers and 2 Hammond organists in the band. And they kept perfect time. I mean, I heard stories that he used to fine people every time there was a clam. Every time there was a mistake, he'd point at somebody and go, $5, $5. Well, that was the tightest band it worked, because the tightest band I've ever heard and the most dynamic show I've ever seen. I love to watch Mick Jagger dance around with the Stones. I love watching a good band play. But as a showman, James Brown was the best. I've never seen anybody as good as him on stage, and heard a tighter band and seen a more exciting show than James Brown.